Right, so here we are with the pieces we've rebaited. Roll tape, I've got some glue. That's the excess bit we don't need anymore. Don't throw it on the floor. So some of the edges on these are a little bit raggedy, so what I'll probably do is I will just run my block plane over those. This is my block plane. I should really move my tool bag a bit closer. So yeah, it wasn't expensive. Yeah, like most of my tools, you may have noticed. It's not all about spending money on tools. It's a shame to buy tools and then expensive tools and never use them. So, there we go. I don't want to take off too much. This is quite a good plane because it's very adjustable. And you can adjust your mouth and your rake angle. There's loads of videos online of how to set up block planes and that. So all I'm going to do is just use it for taking just the raggediness off the edge of these boards. This is that whole don't take too much in one go sort of thing. Just start off low and then adjust into it, because otherwise you can end up making a complete mess of things. There we go. Just until you get the right level of bite. Because these bits are the bits that are going to sit into the rebate, so all I'm going to do, I'm just going to flatten them up so we've got a good bit of surface contact area. So there shouldn't be too many little gaps, because I don't know if this picks up. The table saw leaves some little sort of stamped saw marks in it, but it just takes a quick rub over with the block plane to sort them out. It doesn't take a lot, they're not very deep, and it leaves a bit of a raggedy edge. So I'm not beveling the edge, I'm just taking off the raggediness. They call it de-harrissing or de-harrissing the edges. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, I'm going to pop a bit of glue down there, and then I'm going to put some clamps on it and stuff. But masking tape is sort of the number one for doing this. When I used to work in cabinet making, we used to go through miles and miles and boxes of masking tape. It's just very useful for your projects in this. And this is just like a PVA based glue. It's a brand name, but you can turn it around. I don't like having brand names, too many, apart from the ones I've already mentioned. But that was from a previous video that never really got made. I'm not putting a lot of glue on. I'm probably putting a little bit too much glue on some areas. But I'm just mostly just getting it on. The biggest mistake people make is putting too much glue on, like I've just done there. But the trick is to get it nice and smoothed out. This is what I was talking about, getting those, getting the area so it can absorb the glue nicely. Just wipe that off with every finger. This is on the inside, so it's not too much of a big deal. I did actually bring oh no, I've lost it. I did have a bit of rag with me, but it's gone. I'll just do it with my fingers. Good old finger. So, best tools you can carry. Just try doing a little bit less glue on this side. No one's perfect. That's more like it. It's a little bit like welding, you've sort of got to get your feed and your speed right. I'm actually going to go and get a little bit of cloth and just clean that up a bit. Okay, I'm back. So the thinner you put the glue on, the quicker it'll actually dry. You can see it's already starting to dry now. We're getting we've got quite good temperature. So this is the inside, I'm not panicking too much about it. So let's start off by lining some of these up into here. what I've done is I've put too much glue in too many areas and working too quickly. So now, take a bit of cloth and clean up some of these bits of glue excess before too much goes on. And the next step is to wait for it to dry. I'm going to put a bit more tape around it, just hold everything together. But yeah, wait for it to dry. So I have actually made a decision. I'm going to try and get to the London Hackspace to use their machine tonight to actually cut up, or this afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly, while I'm at home, when I did the other printout you saw me sticking together, I actually made a few more, I made a couple more copies of it. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm just going to try and find some of the sheets that are largely the stock section that I can cut out and stick down now. Just find some pieces that are sort of correct. You can see some of these are actually in colour, which was nice. Bear with me. Or do I just... I think I'll stick the one I've got down. I'm going to go and get some scissors. So for the purposes of time saving, I'm actually going to cut up the plans I already have, because I've got some more. I will make more out of them. I think it might be useful actually to have some of the measurements I've put on it here, but I think I'm going to have this side of it. Seems a shame, but I've got more. So there we go, I've cut that bit off. I think the advantage I'll have in doing that is if I go and cut it out now, I'll be more advanced into the project than I was previously. I'll suffer for it on Monday morning, probably. Got to be in work at 6:30 on Monday morning. Hopefully I won't get home too late. But so I'm going to cut myself, I'm going to do as much cutting as I can here now as possible. And I'm going to get this stuck to some MDF and then I'll work from there. Right, okay, so I'm going to cut that bit off. I'm just going to move some of these pieces out of the way. So this is the bit I've cut off. see that I've got quite a lot of this sheet left over, and this is still only half a sheet. So I'm thinking now that, because I've just cut this out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I might cut out 2 stocks out of this. So what I'll do is I'll cut this one out on the fret saw, and then I'll use this as a guide, using a router flush cutter to actually cut a second sheet out. So look, 1, 2. I could probably get 3 stocks out of this, but I'm going to go for 2. So I'm going to use the table saw in a second just to rip this down to a slightly smaller size, and then I'm going to stick it down and get on with it. So let me just mark up this. Let's do that with. Far too much scribbling there. Take this over to the table saw. I'm going to cut that on the table saw. Yeah, I'm working pretty quickly now. I'm just trying to get things going, trying to get stuff, and I'm also trying to get it all on camera, as much of it on camera as I can. So, forgive me if I start to ramble and rush. So I'm just going to use some of this stick attack, spelt in a weird way. Super spray adhesive. It works kind of well. The only thing you have to make sure you've got to do is clean the nozzle off relatively regularly. Seems to work. You can do this with hairspray if you want. It doesn't stick as well, but you know, sometimes it's easier to come by. And some people do it with like a, what do they call it? Pritt stick. From I use this. This is really cheap. I bought it. It's like a £1 a can. Or a couple of £1 a can. I can't remember now. Just give it a liberal coating. Looks like Spider-Man got excited. Give that a few seconds to sort of dry. It's like a contact adhesive stuff. Apply it to both sides. Let it sit for a little while until it goes sort of tacky. You'll feel it. If you stick it straight on, if it's like a paper or something, as it dries, it can sort of crumple up a bit. So normally you just got to let it dry a little bit before you apply it. So yeah, what I'll do is I will take this, cut it out using the fret saw, get it nice and accurate as possible, and then I'm going to use that as sort of like a master with a flush cutter on the router to actually cut it out with. It's almost ready now. Oh no, look. Tip number 2, always clean your bench off. Swear number 2. You can try and tape these templates down, but they never work, ever. They all just get messed. Just spend a couple of quid and get a can of stuff. Right, that's that. I'm going to put all my tools away. Oh God, look at me. I'm going to put all my tools away, and I'm going to make a break for the London hack space to cut this out, and then I'm going to try and get back, and we'll see what I can get done in the middle of the week. Is there anything else I want to do before I go? Can I get them corners rounded off? I'm just going to check if the glue's dry on this. This glue doesn't... The Gorilla Glue doesn't take that long to dry, especially not in this day. We're having really good weather at the moment, which is perfect for this. So I'm going to take a bit, I'm going to pop the clamps on this, take some of the tape off and see if it's dried. If it has, I think it has, it feels like it has. There's a couple of little, let me just spin this screw around. There's a couple of little inclusions here and there where things have just moved a little bit. I think that's mostly just due to the edge of this not being quite so square. But I'll fill them. We're still in the early stages here. That's not something to worry about too much. I'll have to go at that with a bit of. I'll be using a lot of car body filler, like a 2-part car body filler on this project anyway. So I can just fill it with that later. Yeah, we're stuck together. We're glued. Okay, right. So I'm going to round the corners off on this, and then I'm going to cut this out. So that's my plan. You can see now I've done that, it absolutely covers an absolute multitude of sins. Just doing that. It's quite satisfying actually. There's still a few little areas, but quick rub over with a bit of sandpaper and a few patches of car body filler here and there, and we've got some lovely flush surfaces, perfect for painting. There we go. I was having a quick think while I was doing it. I was also concentrating on what I was doing. But what I'll probably do is, once I've cut that out, I'll put a 6mm rebate in here that I can then glue the stock piece into. I think that might work out quite well, might make it quite strong. But we're lucky now we can see how much space we've got to fit our electronics into. And our smoke machines and such. It's not a lot. But I think we can manage. I think if I'm going to do 2 of these, I'll do one with all the fun stuff in, and another one which will just be a little bit, you know, just a plain shape. So yeah.